At 9 in the evening, they came to some agreement. They will take out the terrorists and the athletes from the apartments in the bus and bring them to the entrance of the Olympic Village. There were 3 helicopters will wait for them. They will fly to the army base not far from Munich. There they will take a civil airplane to Cairo to negotiating. I remember this moment and never forget it. When I saw the athletes coming down of the bus, they were tied up to each one another and they were pulling to the helicopters. I was standing about 50 meters from the helicopters, shouting to them in Hebrew all the time. And I think that was the place that they could release if they want the police. They put in one helicopter 4 athletes, tied them up to the chairs, and they put another 5 to another helicopter. And they flew away. That was also very, very dramatic moment. I was really crying and shouting, and I was pessimistic. I was sure that I will never see them again. I knew what I heard there from the Germans, that they will never let them out from Germany alive. They're going to do something in the airport. So we were waiting for hours until about 12 o'clock at night. We got an information from our head of delegation that the Germans succeeded to release the athletes and they're all safe and they will come soon back to us. We were really happy. We celebrate. We hugged each other and we drank champagne even. We were so happy even we had already 2 athletes who died in the morning. But unfortunately, at 3 o'clock at night, the head of delegation came again to us and said completely another information. All the 9 athletes died in the airport. The German police, with the snipers, they shoot 5 terrorists. Then it became dark completely, and the 3 terrorists were afraid that they're going to die. So before they're going to die, they went to the first helicopter and they shot all the athletes with Kalashnikovs, machine guns, while they were sitting in the helicopter, unable to run away. Then they went to the second helicopter and they just blew it up with hand grenades. In a few seconds, all the athletes were dead. That was a very sad information for us, and we completely become hysterical. The doctor gave us all medicines, and there were the girls, there were also panics. The next morning, we had some memory celebration, you call it, ceremony in the Olympic Stadium. The only thing I liked there was that the Israeli head of delegation had a speech there in Hebrew and in English, and he said that Israel will never surrender and will send more delegations to all the Olympic Games to come. Unfortunately, 1 hour later in the morning, we got a message from the Prime Minister of Israel that we are off to go back. We tried to suggest that one of us will stay in the final ceremony and march in with an Israeli flag, but we were denied. We went to our apartments to prepare ourselves to fly back to Israel. It was a very sad day. I went there with my coach wife, Anke Spitzer. She came specially from Netherlands. And I told her, look, I was inside already. Better you not go in. It's not for you. It's a horrible picture. She said, no, I can do it. And we went inside all the apartments. First of all the apartment was full of blood. Of the blood of Moni Weinberg, who was shot, and the blood of Yossi Romana, who was shot, and he was bleeding for 9 hours in front of the hostages. So all the belongings were spread in the room, in all the rooms. In the blood was many toys and children game and dolls that the athletes bought to bring home for the children. We had to prepare all the belongings and to bring it to Israel. It took us for a few hours. It was a bad, sad job. We went to the airport with all our belongings, and we loaded to the airplane 10 coffins with an Israeli flag. One coffin went to Cleveland, America, with David Berger. He was also American. And we flew back to Israel. When we arrived to Tel Aviv airport, just the airplane stopped in the middle, not even in a terminal, because there were thousands of people already inside in the terminal waiting for us. He stopped the plane and he opened the door and we went down. The picture was a dramatic picture. There were 1,000 amazing Israelis who were standing there and weeping and crying, but quietly. So quiet that I couldn't believe it. I will never ever forget those moments in the airport. Then I had another dramatic time the next day, the funerals. And this was Friday, Erev Rosh Hashanah, the evening of the New Year in Israel. And we had a supper with the family. Even the apple and honey was bitter. Me and the family and my friend and all Israel were very sad. I stopped fencing for a few months. I couldn't fence. Later, I quit. I started to coach children and youngsters, and I started to coach my son, the middle son. Later, when he was 21, he won the Israeli championships. So we had 3 generations. He got married last year. And before I left America a few days ago, he told me that I'm going to be a grandfather with a son in December. So I told him, well, maybe we'll have another fencer. Those people who I taught 20 years later, when I was 47, they told me if I can participate again in the national championships. I told them that you're a bit mishiga. But there were good fencers those times because it came a lot from new immigration from Russia, and they are very good fencers. So I told them, how you want me to compete those youngsters? They said, well, we trust you. So I decided to practice for 4 months. I was in a good shape physically. And I did a beautiful comeback, and I won again the Israeli National Championship. And then I quit again, and I started to play golf. Since today, I am playing golf. No fencing anymore. Well, there are so many things that I told you that nearly you will not read the book. But in the book, really, there are many stories about my life, and everything is connecting to the Olympics. We had an Olympic family all the time at home. My father had a dream to be in the Olympics, but when he came to Israel, Israel was not yet recognized by the Olympic Committee, so he couldn't go to the Olympics. So I took it over and I did it, and I was very proud. So the book is all about it, my family, when I was a child. I knew Israel, about the history in Israel when I was a child, and how I recovered from all the problems, because I didn't recover yet completely. Still, I have problems. I'm afraid a lot to go outside Israel. I don't feel safe when I'm in Europe or in America. Absolutely. I went to many places and I didn't stay there. I said, no, I'm not staying here. And you can see all the stories in the book. I hope one day we will know we don't need any more to guard and to make security. Look what's happened in the Olympic Games in London. 24,000 men are keeping the security there. And to secure this kind of thing, it costs so much money. I hope one day we will reach the Olympics and we can fly around in the state without opening the belt and taking the shoes off. Because really it's ridiculous. I remember when I was in the 20s, I went to compete in Europe or somewhere. There was no security, never checked. Just to take the passport and you walk into the airplane. But to save so much time. And here in America it's really difficult. In Europe it's less. Here you have to take off your shoes also. And I mean, in Europe they don't take off the shoes. Anyway, I really hope that one day we will have a safe world. I really thank you for your attention, and God bless you, and see you always in Jerusalem. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you want some questions, I'll be delighted to answer you.
Now have a short question and answer series followed by an opportunity for people to get signed autographed books from Dan. Please, the question and answer series is typically, in Dan's opinion, the most interesting part of the entire lecture. So please lift up your hands.
Okay.
Of the delegation that was in Munich, how many, maybe you said it and I didn't hear you, but how many are still living like yourself?
We are 7 survivors all together from all the delegation. And we met 2 months ago together, and we went to Germany, to Munich, and there was a cooperation between the Historic Channel of Germany and the Historic Channel in Israel to make a film about us.